What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cav Show. We got college football week 15 really getting close to the playoffs, and I cannot wait. There's a lot of teams where are they in, are they out, including Florida Gators. Yes, the Florida Gators are ranked 6th. They got a big game this weekend, but look, dude, they play Bama in the SEC championship game. And if they beat Alabama, the number one team in the country right now, and I said they are the best team, hands down, no doubt about it. But if Florida ends up beating them, 100% Florida deserves to be in the playoffs. Yes, Florida this weekend, they play LSU, and it really starts with their quarterback and Kyle. Look, this kid, dude, he has over 3,000 yards passing, 3,243 to be exact, with 38 touchdowns and only 3 picks. I mean, this kid, dude, he's a baller. Shout out to Kyle. Look, dude, I'm telling you what, the Florida Gators, there are the Florida Gators that we're used to seeing, right, with Tim Tebow. They love to pass. They love to do the play action. They just have that energy about them. I get it. They got a loss this year. Everyone takes an L, but look, I'm telling you what, I expect Florida to win this game versus LSU. We're talking LSU, a banged up team. I'm really not obviously the same team with Joe Burrow and that championship team this past year. I'm definitely really different, right? But I think overall, 100%, I got to go Florida. LSU, though, they have a great receiver in Terrence Marshall Jr. He's got 48 receptions on 731 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. This dude's a baller, and I expect him to play on Sundays when that time comes. You get what I'm saying on Sundays? NFL, baby, the big leagues, the big boys, that's when the big boys play. I cannot wait to see that. But look, I'm going with Florida. And like I said, when Florida beats LSU tomorrow, no doubt, they have Bama next weekend. And if you beat Bama, the number one team, 100%, Florida's in and Bama's out. If Bama loses in the SEC championship game, they deserve to be out, right? I mean, straight up. That's what we're talking about here right now. But look, dude, I think Bama is a team to beat. Like I said, they're the number one team in the country for a reason, and they play Arkansas. And it really starts with Mac Jones, their quarterback, over 3,000 yards passing, 3,113 yards to be exact, with 27 touchdowns and only 3 picks. Look, dude, I'm telling you what, Bama, they always have legit people. Legit players that go to the next level, that play on Sundays. And it makes sense why Nick Saban is the championship coach. Championship after championship. Harris, their starting running back, over 1,000 yards for the season with 20 rushing touchdowns. And then we have Devontae Smith. Look, he will be playing on Sundays as well. He's got 1,305 yards receiving and 15 touchdowns. I mean, all 3 of those will be in the NFL, no doubt about it. Arkansas, look, Felipe, their starting quarterback, he's pretty good, over 2,000 yards this year with 17 touchdowns and 4 picks. Really a great player. But look, dude, where Arkansas is just not on Bama's level. They are not. I'm going Bama all day. I'll take the spread. 68 and a half is the over-under. I would go with the over in this one. I would. I expect Bama to score a lot, and I expect Arkansas to put up some numbers too as well. But like I said, next week, Bama plays Florida in the SEC championship game. Obviously, if Bama wins that, they are the number one team in the country. It's a lock. They have the number one seed in the playoff going in. And really, honestly, dude, Bama is probably, eye test-wise, Bama is the number one team right now. No doubt about it. They're the number one team for a reason, and it makes sense, dude. It makes sense so much, and I'm telling you what, shout out to Bama and Nick Saban, a scary, scary team, and I'm going with Bama all day. Then we got Georgia versus Mizzou, M-I-Z-Z-O-U. Yes, my father graduated from Mizzou, but I'm not rooting for Mizzou in this game. I'm going with Georgia, and it really starts with their running game. White, he's got 614 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns on 121 carries. They can throw the ball. Georgia has a pretty good defense, and that's why I'm going with them. I think Georgia has a little bit better defense than Mizzou. Mizzou's quarterback, Connor, he's got over 2,000 yards passing with 5 touchdowns and only 2 picks. Larry Roundtree III, he's got 170 carries on 835 yards and 11 touchdowns. I think this is going to be a dogfight, though. I really do. I think Larry Roundtree is going to have a big game. If he rushes for over 100 yards, I expect maybe Missouri to get the upset win. But I'm still going to go Georgia. I would love to see Mizzou with the upset. But I'm going Georgia, money line. 54.5 is the over-under. I would say go with the over. I expect this to be a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be like 17-13 in that aspect. I think it'll be up in the 40s, but I could be wrong. That's for you to get, but I'm going with the dogs, baby. Then we had a lot of games that were canceled due to COVID. Really sucks, right? I mean, I hate COVID. I hate everything about it. I cannot wait till COVID is over. It's only a matter of time. time. Let's think positive about it. Michigan versus Ohio State was one of those games where they had to cancel it because of COVID. And it really, I look at it now on eye test, it's probably like, man, Michigan's probably lucky that happened, right? Because the past 5 years, Michigan has got embarrassed by Ohio State. And Ohio State's probably looking at him like, hey, dude, we are the top dogs here. We are the top dogs for a reason, dude. And to me, it's and it starts with Fields. There's star quarterback. Look, Ohio State, I believe they deserve to get in. And a lot of people are like, well, Cap, that Ohio State only has X amount of wins. They haven't played a full season. Well, hey, on eye test, I'm telling you what, Justin Fields, it makes sense why Ohio State should get in that 4 seed. Let them play in the Big Ten championship. Look, I get it. COVID's bad. But luckily for Michigan Wolverines, look, you caught a break there. You won't get embarrassed yet again. And I believe for Michigan's sake, Harbaugh will get fired. It's only a matter of time. He should get fired. He should have been fired like 2 years ago. And then we got IU versus Purdue. Same thing with Purdue. They're lucky. I think IU this year's really surprised many people. People living in Indiana for sure are surprised. But I think as the Big Ten is surprised that IU is really legit this year. And I think going into next year, they're only going to get better. They are only going to get better, and for Purdue's sake, hey, lucky for you, because I think IU is going to beat Purdue. This is a classic rivalry in-state. I love it. But look, I was rooting for IU all day. Not a Purdue fan at all. But I'm telling you, IU, I believe they're kind of mad about this. Same thing with Purdue, but I think Purdue really caught the break on this one because on eye test, IU's a better team, no doubt. Then Cincinnati versus Tulsa, another game that got canceled really bad. And then we got Texas versus Kansas, another one. Oklahoma versus West Virginia. Stupid COVID, ruining it. I'm telling you. Then we had Ole Miss versus Texas A&M. I believe this is postponed. They might try to play it in a couple weeks. I don't know if this is possible. It looks like it probably end up being canceled, but Texas A&M, they're that 5 seed right now. They're right into getting into the playoffs. It's going to be interesting. It's really going to boil down to the next weekend of the bowl games and the championship games leading into the playoffs. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen there, but I'm telling you what, it's really the top 4 teams are still not the same, but I'm telling you what right now, it's going to be interesting. It really is. Florida and Texas A&M right there, and they can really still get in. Florida and A&M can really get in. Then we got Illinois versus Northwestern. Northwestern 14-point favorites. 40.5 is the over-under. They're really telling us it's going to be a low-scoring game, which I don't think it will. Peyton Ramsey, the quarterback for Northwestern, I like this kid. Yes, he's got 8 touchdowns and 6 picks. I get it. That's a lot. Over 1,000 yards passing. But what I've saw recently, look, he can throw it. He can utilize the play action. I like where Northwestern's at right now. Illinois on eye test, they have a terrible defense, terrible special teams. Really, they're just not that good. I mean, really, they're not. Chase Brown, he's got 79 carries on 440 yards and 2 touchdowns for Illinois. Maybe they can get the ground game going, but look, I'm going Northwestern. If you think 14's too much, go money line. But I'm rolling with Northwestern in this pick. I would go with the under. Not with the under. I would go with the over. 40 to me and a half is a little bit too low. I think it's really going to be more scoring for Northwestern. But historically, Northwestern hasn't been putting up crazy numbers either. So that's really your call. But I'm definitely going Northwestern money line. Then we got Utah versus Colorado. Colorado's undefeated, but like I said, some of these undefeated teams really haven't played anybody. For instance, like Cincinnati, they haven't really played many good competition. When I say competition, like an SEC team, like a Bama or somebody, or LSU or, Florida, somebody. Throw them, you know what I'm saying? Throw them a big game. But yes, Utah, they're nice. Jake Bentley's got 489 yards passing with 3 touchdowns and 4 picks. Ty Jordan, he's got 44 carries on 296 yards and a touchdown. But look, dude, I think Colorado gets it done, and it starts with Sam Neuer, their quarterback. He's got 4 touchdowns, 4 picks on 742 yards passing. But look, dude, I think Colorado has all-around better team on paper. No doubt. And I think it really starts in the running game. To me, it's just the Colorado makes sense here. But like I said, this could be an upset game here. And I'm going to go Utah with the upset. I think Colorado loses their first game. Colorado's 2.5-point favorites coming in, but I'm going with the dog. I'm going Utah, baby. Then we got North Carolina versus the U. I believe the U will be favorite come game time. It makes more sense. King, he's got over 2,000 yards passing with 20 touchdowns and only 4 picks. Mike Harley's got 43 receptions on 653 yards and 5 touchdowns. But look, dude, I like North Carolina in this matchup, and here's why. It starts with their quarterback, Sam Howell. He's got over 3,000 yards passing with 26 touchdowns and 6 picks. They like to throw the ball. And I think if they spread out Miami's not the same defense that we used to saw back in the early 2000s, 90s, and even the 80s. So to me, I like North Carolina in this pick. Mike Carter's got 132 carries on 937 yards and 7 touchdowns. And D. Brown, he's got 51 receptions on 932 yards receiving and 8 receiving touchdowns. Look, it just makes more sense. I think this is going to be a dogfight, and I really think whoever has the ball on the last possession is going to win this game. So I'm going to go North Carolina. Sam is going to have the game-winning drive. I'm taking North Carolina over the U. Then we got Wisconsin versus Iowa, a Big Ten matchup. I love it, dude. Graham Mertz, over 800 yards passing, 8 touchdowns and 4 picks for Wisconsin. But look, I'm going Iowa. These teams play really similar. Hard-nosed, run the football. We're going to hit you hard. But look, Spencer, he's got 1,358 yards passing with 7 touchdowns and only 5 picks. Tyler Goodsman, he's got 132 carries on 656 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. I think Iowa gets it done. They're playing at home. They've been playing well, and I think Iowa will get a good bowl game moving forward. Obviously, these teams aren't going to be in the playoffs, but I think they will. They will get a good game, and I'm taking Iowa in this one. 42 is the over-under. I would go with the under. I think it's going to be a little bit low-scoring game, but like I said, I'm going with Iowa over Wisconsin. Mark that down. Then we got Oklahoma State versus Baylor. Oklahoma State is 5.5-point favorites. I'm going with Oklahoma State because I picked against Oklahoma State a lot this year and really got burnt, dude. And Spencer Sanders, he's really proved to me that he's a nice quarterback. I get it. He's got 7 touchdowns and 6 picks, over 1,300 yards passing. But look, dude, Tylan Wallace, 53 receptions on 877 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think Oklahoma, they just had that combination between the two. And I think in Oklahoma State's defense is nice as well. I think it's really underrated. It really is. So to me, Baylor, yes, I get it. To me, Charlie, their quarterback, almost 2,000 yards passing with 14 touchdowns and 8 picks. R.J. Sneed, 36 receptions on 469 yards and 3 touchdowns. But look, this is another coin flip game, really. I get it. You know, Oklahoma State's 5.5-point favorites, and I'm rolling with that. I'm taking the spread here. 59.5 is the over-under. I would go with the over, but definitely going to Oklahoma State. Like I said, I've been picking against them a lot this year and getting burned. Then we got USC versus UCLA. USC, Kendon, their starting quarterback, 1,257 yards passing with 10 touchdowns and only 2 picks. Look, USC, I like them. I really do. I get it. Thompson Robinson, he's got 691 yards passing with 8 touchdowns and only 2 picks. Felden the third, he's got 111 carries on 578 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. I originally was going to go USC, but I'm going to UCLA. Why? Because of Robinson and Felton. I really think these two can run the ball at will and really use some play action pass and throw the ball down the field. So I'm going UCLA over USC. Who would have thought? I mean, traditionally USC owns UCLA, but I love it. I love UCLA in this matchup because of their starting quarterback. 62.5 is the over-under. I would go with the under in this pick. And a lot of people are like, no, Cap, don't do it. Obviously, that you do what you want with the over-unders. I do it for fun, but I'm definitely going with UCLA. Then we got San Diego State versus BYU. Obviously, BYU lost last week to Coastal Carolina. I said if BYU runs out, same thing with Cincinnati, if they win out, yes, they should get a chance, right, into the playoffs. But obviously, BYU, they will not get that chance. And I don't even think they would have got the chance if they would have beat Coastal Carolina. But look, Zach Wilson putting up crazy numbers, almost 3,000 yards passing with 27 TDs and only 3 picks. Tyler Allinger, their starting running back, 957 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. Look, I really thought BYU would have won last week, but they didn't. But look, I like this matchup. I think BYU gets it done. 47.5 is the over-under. I'm going with the over in this one. But look, I really think it starts with Zach Wilson and what he can do. And I get it. They lost, but they will get a good bowl game. You know, and I think for some of these smaller colleges, it's not their fault they don't get scheduled for the best teams in the country. It's really not. It's not their fault. But really what's bothering me with the rankings is, man, IU coming in at like 12th? Really? I thought IU was 100% in the top 10. Their starting quarterback went down, yet they are still winning games. To me, I'm just like, who is doing the rankings for NCAA football right now? It's kind of a head scratcher. It really is. I really thought IU would get in there. I really think it's about all big teams, big name teams to get in. It's like, come on. IU was a couple plays away from beating Ohio State and being undefeated. Imagine if IU was undefeated right now. They would definitely be in the playoff, right? But to me, I get it. They got lost. They lost. Whatever. It is what it is. But my whole thing is dealing with the rankings in NCAA football right now is, look, let's go to like a 10-game playoff. Let's get the smaller dogs a chance. And what I mean by that is like a 10th ranked team right now would play like Bama. Obviously, they're more likely going to lose, but let's give them a shot. Look at NCAA basketball, dude. They have way more than 10 teams in. And that's what makes it so interesting, right? I just think as time moves on into the future, I think NCAA football should 100% go to that. Go to that. What I mean by that is go to the 10-team playoff. I think that's great, dude. I really do. I think that's great for the sport. And it's great for the underdogs to really be a Cinderella team. A Cinderella team moving in. I really do. So I think moving forward, that's that. But look, obviously my top 5 teams are basically still the same from week to week for the past couple of weeks. Obviously, Bama at number 1. We have to put Bama there. We have to. Bama, on paper, they are the best team. And even eye test, they are the best team, best offensive line, best running backs, best receivers, just best everything, really. And then number 2, my team, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they have a huge game next weekend. I mean, obviously, they had to beat Clemson yet again. You had to beat Clemson twice to get into the playoffs. I think if Notre Dame loses to Clemson in a bad way, they are done. Obviously, if they lose in a double overtime game by a field goal to Clemson, I still think Notre Dame should get in that 4 spot. I really do. But who knows? But to me, if I'm Brian Kelly and Coach Kelly, I'm saying, look, I'm telling my players right now that, hey, from here on out, win or lose, we're done. So we need to win every single game moving forward. They do. And number 3, I got to go Clemson. Clemson, I get it. They lost to Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence, although their backup played crazy good, over 400 yards that game. But I really do think Clemson is still that team. They are. They are kryptonite to Bama. Bama does not want to see Clemson if it really boils down to the national championship game. Because Clemson and Bama, classic matchup. We've seen it year after year. So I cannot wait to see if that's really going to become a reality. And number 4, a lot of people were giving speculations that Ohio State, it is number 4. And they're like, well, they've only played like 5 or so games. So what's up with that, Cap? No, Cap. What is up with that? Look, Ohio State, Justin Fields, it really starts with him. And I think Ohio State, they have a nice, underrated defense as well. So to me, it makes sense why Ohio State is at number 4. And number 5, a lot of people on paper is Texas A&M, but still, my number 5 is Florida Gators. Yes, they play LSU this weekend. They will beat LSU. No doubt about it. They will beat LSU. But my whole thing is going into next week, Florida, you guys have to beat Bama. And if you beat Bama, you punch your ticket into the playoff. And same thing with Notre Dame. You guys have to beat Clemson, baby. It's college football. It's the Clown with Cap show. Let's go!